O Chaos Emeralds, Gems of Miracles, please heed my call. I wish to save this world. I wish to cleanse my father's sin, and I wish to talk to Sonic once again. You have given me so many things. Now it is my time to return the favor. I care not what happens to me, but please heed my voice. Sonic, come back. To me. To us.
Thank you, Elise.
Yeah, so that's... Oh, well, now we get to fight Solaris. But that's the scene that basically still haunts Sonic to this day. The fact that
body of light is the sign of a
he
superdimensional life force.
he kissed, or at least kissed him, which...
Eats dimensions for lunch. But there should be something that's anchoring him in this dimension. That's probably the light shells that can be seen on his body. If all of those are destroyed, he can be defeated.
Everyone, you need rings to stay in a super
Damn.
state, but maintaining this form consumes rings.
Oh,
Make sure you
shit.
don't run out of rings. If you're running low, use the Y button to switch to someone else.
Alright, yeah, I'll talk about that a little later. I'll go back to my thoughts about that a little later. I just want to focus on this very epic boss.
Understood.
You get to fight against Solaris, the god. So, I just really love this fight because this is easily the most powerful enemy that Sonic has ever fought, because Solaris is a god. And like
Silver. It's
Eggman mentions, it's hard to defeat him because he exists.
Prepare to meet your doom!
He exists in the past, present, and future, so in all planes of time. And the only way they can stop him is by having each respective hedgehog fight him in every single plane of time. That's why Shadow said that they needed Sonic, because they need three hedgehogs to take him down, with each hedgehog basically fighting in oh wow. Yeah, with each hedgehog basically fighting in each plane of time and space. Which, fun fact, if you didn't already notice, like each hedgehog in this game does represent each hedgehog in this game does represent a time, a point in time. So Shadow represents the past, and it makes sense due to him being created 50 years ago, and a lot of his arc revolving around, you know, trying to move on from the dark past that he has. So with that, Shadow represents the past. Silver is the easiest because he represents the future. He's a very optimistic guy, which, you know, I feel like optimists really optimists tend to, you know, I guess represent the future, and I guess the hope of the future, as they're the ones who always tries to look in the good and the beauty of everything and have faith that the future will always be good. And then you have Sonic, who represents the present, and it makes sense if you really think about it, because Sonic is all about living in the moment. That's what he basically tells Elise throughout this whole game. And, you know, Sonic is often compared to being like one with the wind, and, you know, I think that's like a way people often describe those who live in the present, or who just live in the moment, in the present. They go with the wind. You know, the wind is free flowing, it moves in the here and now, not worried about what's going on now. Yeah, it's not worried about what's going on now, or it's not worried about what happened before or what will happen in the future. It just blows now. So that's just something I always thought was cool, and something I kind of like realized a while ago. I don't know if everyone else noticed that. I mean, I don't think it's that hard. It makes sense, but it's just something to do with each hedgehog's character, you know? And I just like how it's represented in this fight and in this game. You know, Sonic is the embodiment of the present, Shadow is the embodiment of the past, and Silver is the embodiment of the present, or of the future. Now, if only I could finish this guy off, because I need to fight him with Silver.
It's your turn.
But the only issue is it's kind of hard to... Alright, there we go. Oh, there we go. We took out one of his hands. So now we're gonna have to switch. We're gonna have to switch hedgehogs. Yeah.
Good luck, Sonic. Okay.
So this fight isn't that hard. You just, with both Sonic and Shadow, you need to charge up the action gauge with the right trigger button, and then just attack with the X. But the attacks that work on him change over the course of the battle, and you have to like find out which hedgehog you need to use. So for right now, I need to use Shadow.
A super dimensional being. This might even be a fair fight.
Oh, I love how Shadow says that. He's like, oh yeah, this guy's a super interdimensional being. Yeah, he might pose a challenge. So nonchalantly. Well, Shadow is the ultimate life form after all. I love how his attack is just a barrage of chaos spears. God, I also love this battle theme. It's just so good. I feel like it just captures the dire the direness of the situation and just the godly essence of Solaris.
Silver, it's your turn.
I'll take care of this.
And we're just fighting. Yeah, like you gotta remember, all these guys are fighting Solaris in different points in time. So right now we're in the future with Silver, and Solaris exists in all three.
Okay.
So I think that's why the attacks only work with certain,
Let's have some fun, Solaris.
or that's why the attacks that work on him change to kind of represent that each hedgehog is taking him on in different time periods, which I think it's a good way to do it. Like right now Sonic is fighting him in the present, and that's why right now I can damage him. Alright, so it looks like his armor is gone, so I think now he's kinda, he's weak in all points, but I'm playing as Sonic and I still have rings, so I might as well just finish him off as Sonic. There we go.
Is it over?
No, it's not over yet. I guess it's not gonna be that easy.
So it looks like now Solaris has transformed.
Is it impossible to defeat a superdimensional being after all?
No, something's different. I can feel a large, powerful consciousness coming from Solaris.
What? A consciousness? That's it! That's his core! Even if we can't stop his core, we can stop his consciousness!
Look! There's a strange thing in the middle of Solaris. Isn't that the core?
Oh yeah, I love this theme. The His World instrumental. It's just such an epic theme to go with the boss fight and what's essentially the end of this grand adventure. This epic fight with Solaris. Oh, I didn't switch in time.
He detects an attack on the core. He will put up a field
Oh
with
my
beamings
God.
of light. Find the right timing to attack the core.
The moment he attacks is your chance. Solaris' core will be vulnerable. Evade his attack, then strike at the same time.
That's another thing. That's how you know how strong he is, because you may notice every time we've battled other enemies in our super forms in the past games, when you get hit, Sonic or Shadow or whoever don't normally lose rings. They just get knocked back or they get stunned or whatever, but they don't lose rings, which shows you just how powerful Solaris really is, that he's strong enough to even cause direct damage to a superpowered being. I love how Silver says that he'll protect the future, which is something that all the hedgehogs say. They kind of got a quote like that when you switch to them in this phase of the battle. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to switch soon.
Let's see how long you can keep up that big attitude.
Let's switch to Shadow.
A super dimensional being. This might even be a fair fight.
Whoa! Damn it.
Hey! You're running short on range. Use the Y button to switch with me.
Now you see, I like how so Shadow says that I'll release you from the chains of your past. Oh my god.
Hey, do you still have ring energy? Use the Y button to switch with me.
Let's change
see
to
how long
Sonic.
you can keep up that big attitude. The present day, the here and now that you've stolen, time to take it back.
You see, that's just so cool. That sends chills down my spine. Sonic just saying like, it's time to take back the present day. Let's end it. Let's end Solaris. Oh shit. Oh my god, I really just spawned right into his like laser.
Shadow, I'm trusting you to do this.
Oh my god.
Use the Y button to switch with me. This is the end. Prepare.
Look at that. I just spawned into his lasers. Alright, let's switch to Sonic. Let's end this with Sonic.
Let's have some fun, Solaris.
I believe in you.
Oh, that's not good. There we go. There we go, and it only took 13 minutes, guys.
Just
And
made
I
it.
still got an A, even though it took me 13 minutes. That's just crazy. There we go, we knocked Solaris unconscious, because that's the best we could do. We couldn't kill him or anything like that. I mean, you can't kill a god. That's just not how it works.
Did you destroy it?
No. That is the true Solaris.
Look, Elise. This is Solaris, the flame of hope.
It's so beautiful.
When the flame has grown large enough, our world will change. Solaris will allow us to control time and move through history. People will be able to rectify past mistakes and avoid bitter fate.
Will we be able to see Mama?
Yes, Elise. We'll both be able to see your mother once again.
This is where everything began. Who knew such a tiny flame could bring such devastation? If we put out this flame, Solaris will never exist. And then we'll never have to worry about the flames of disaster, right? But our encounter... You and I will never meet. It will never have happened. To tell the truth, I don't care what happens to the world.
Elise, just smile.
Miss Elise? It felt like someone was calling me. I'm sure it's just the wind. Of course. But it felt so familiar somehow.
Yeah, with that marks the end of Sonic 06. So the crazy thing about the ending is that the game straight up retcons the events of the game by the end of the game, because as at least explained, blaring out the flame means that Solaris would no longer exist. And since Solaris doesn't exist, Eggman doesn't search for the flames of disaster, so he has no reason to go to Soleanna, since the flames of disaster don't exist and were never released. Same thing with the Scepter of Darkness and whatnot. That also means that Silver's future isn't destroyed. Now I wonder what that means for like the Duke, because remember the only reason Solaris split into two was because the Duke was trying to harness the energy and that accident killed him, but that doesn't happen, but we don't see him there with Princess Elise, so What does that mean? Like, does he just have old age, I guess? He does seem pretty old. Or I guess maybe he's just not there. And then what else is there? Yeah, so basically, this game is such a weird anomaly because it's canon in the timeline, but not really because it never happened. So I don't know. I feel like the writers were just on something else when they wrote this. They must have been smoking, like they must have been snorting some powerful cocaine or whatever, because this story just makes no sense. Like, I know time travel stories get a lot of hate, or they're very infamous for being hard to write, right? Because once you introduce a lot of time travel elements, since time is so abstract, there's no set rules, it gets kind of convoluted, and there's a lot of plot holes, as I mentioned, with this game. But I mean, it's not impossible. There are good time traveling stories, but this game just, I don't know, it just really doesn't know how to handle the whole time travel element well at all. What else? I still don't see why they couldn't meet. The only thing I can think of is maybe if Sonic would have tried to get too close to Elise, all the guards would have been like suspicious, like, whoa, 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 why are you getting too close? Whereas when Eggman was attacking, I mean, they're too focused on the attack and on Eggman, and since Sonic was rescuing the princess, I guess they would let it slide. That's what I think. But that's another thing I hate about the story, is just the fact that they really try to kind of give Sonic a love story with someone who isn't Amy or even like any of the other anthropomorphic animals. They really try to have a love story with the human, which I don't really know why they thought that was a good idea. You know, that scene where she kisses Sonic, like I said, it's a scene that still haunts Sonic to this day, because everyone always just uses that scene as an example of, oh, that's how far Sonic fell. And yeah, like it's a scene that a lot of us Sonic fans wish we could forget about. I'm just surprised that Amy didn't try to beat her ass after that, because you know how Amy is so obsessed over Sonic and whatnot. But I don't know. I just feel like Sonic really shouldn't fall in love with the human. It just doesn't work. It's just weird. Even Sega got criticized for supposedly encouraging bestiality with that, which they said it wasn't the case, but I can understand why people thought that. I think it was just, I don't know. To be fair, when Sonic was first being created back in the 90s, the concept was for Sonic to have a human girlfriend, but they dropped it, which I'm glad they did. And I don't know why they decided to bring it back for this game 20 years after. But yeah, like, there's a reason why no one brings it up or really likes to talk about it. And yeah, like, man, this game is just, I don't know. I really don't know what to say. You can see why it's very, very hated, why it's very infamous. And yeah, this game, it's a statement that's been beaten to death on the internet so much, that this game nearly killed Sonic. But see, that's the crazy thing. It nearly killed him, but it didn't. Because as you guys know, Sonic is still going on to this day. And in fact, I feel like he's kind of bounced back. He's with the success of the movies and in like the past few games, like he's having quite the comeback. And that's part of the reason why I wanted to do this whole playthrough or this marathon, was because I wanted to go through the ups and downs of Sonic. And yeah, unfortunately, after this game, Sonic became a laughingstock. A lot of people, Sonic was hated on, and you know, it was cool to hate on Sonic. I can see why. You know, I'm a Sonic fan, and I'll always be a Sonic fan till the day I die. So I can understand, and yeah, I don't really like this, or like this game is just a train wreck. But believe it or not, and you may not believe me after all the ranting and complaining I've done about this game while playing it, I actually think this game could have been groundbreaking if it had more time in the oven. I mean, when I was younger, I never understood the hate for this game. And even when I played it, I didn't understand it until, like, I guess once I got a little older, then I understood it, and then I played more Sonic games. And playing it now, I do realize that yeah, there are a lot of issues. Now granted, most of like half of these issues was just because I'm playing on an emulator. If I was playing on like an Xbox or a PS3, it would have been a little more smoother. But honestly, this isn't even the worst Sonic game I've ever played, if I have to be honest. And that's such a crazy statement, because this game, you know, everyone's always kind of like going on about, oh, we want a Sonic Adventure 3. If you ask me, I'd say this is Adventure 3 right here. It may not be Adventure 3 in namesake, but it plays a lot like the adventure games. It has hub worlds like Adventure 1. It has high-speed action and multiple playable characters like in Adventure 1 and 2. Emphasis on story like Adventure 1 and 2. Even like the way you unlock the final, like Super Sonic, get to play as Super Sonic and whatnot. Final story, you unlock it by playing all the stories, just like in Adventure 1 and 2. So that's why everyone's like, oh, I want Adventure 3. Where's Adventure 3? If they made Adventure 3, like, here's your Adventure 3, guys. This game is essentially Adventure 3. I remember I had a friend of mine ask me, they were like, oh, I really like Adventure 1 and 2, and I was like, you should play 06. I mean, well, okay, thinking about that was some bad advice, but this game is essentially Adventure 3. You know, yeah, it sucks. I'll admit that it has a lot of issues, but you know, I just kind of want to play the Solaris theme while I finish my thoughts here. Nah, I don't think that really goes with. Let's actually go with phase 2. With the epicness. Anyways, look, in my eyes, this is a spiritual successor to the adventure games, right? It's essentially Adventure 3. Maybe not as good as we wanted it, but it's there. Now I know Takashi Iizuka and Sonic Team said that they have plans on making Adventure 3 in the future, and I'm looking forward to that. But to me, I just think this is essentially Adventure 3. That's what I think, because it has a DNA structure of the adventure titles. And knowing all that, I mean, the adventure formula is really good, and this game has that formula. The only issue with it is that, or not the only, the main issue with it is that it was executed poorly because it was just a rushed game. So I believe if this game wasn't as rushed, if it had more time in the oven, and Sega wasn't dealing with so much issues behind the scenes and whatnot, I feel like this game could have been the next gen Sonic title, you know, the flagship title that was supposed to mark Sonic's 20th anniversary. The game, or wait, not 20th, 15th. There we go, 15th anniversary. And history would have been different afterwards. So yeah, like I said, this game isn't the worst because there are other Sonic games. A couple of them I will get to later, that just don't even have that formula. Like they're not played with bugs, it's just bad game design. And this game, the level design is good, the concepts were good. Like I said, they just needed more time in the oven. If it would have worked, it would have worked. And you know, the story isn't perfect either. Like, even if the gameplay was good, the story still has its issues. But I mean, I'd rather take a game that plays really good with a bad story than a game that has a good story with bad gameplay. Because after all, video games, first and foremost, should be fun. And then the story should be like kind of like the second focus. Because if you care about story, then why are you playing a game? You might as well just watch a movie or read a book. But games are meant to be fun. Anyways, I know I'm kind of rambling on. It's just I have a lot to say about this game, and that's just my thoughts, you know. So yeah, finishing this game was kind of bittersweet because I'm never gonna touch this game again. I have no reason to. Especially since I have to play it on an emulator, it's just bad. I'm glad I'm done with it. I get to move on, but I can appreciate what is there and what Sonic Team tried to do. Because there is some good things. Like the best thing I could say about this game that it does well is the music. I'd say this game probably has the best Sonic soundtrack of all the games, and has one of my favorites. Like, when it comes to the Sonic Team and Sonic games, the one thing you can always count on is the music being good. I mean, Sonic has had a lot of shitty games, but the soundtracks, oh man, they just hit so hard. But anyways, yeah, so I know I'm kind of going on. If you're still haven't clicked off, watch something else, you know, I applaud you. Thanks for hearing my thoughts. I could definitely talk about this game a little more later, and when I'm playing another one of the games. That way you're not just watching a audio room screen and listen to me talk. But yeah, this is Sonic 06, the infamous Sonic 06. And yeah, tune in next time where we move on to the next game in the series, or in the marathon, which you guys already know what it is. It's Sonic and the Secret Rings. So I'll see you guys for that one.